Somebody asked me, how come people are so knowledgeable and they're still messed up? I was like, well, that's easy. Where's knowledge? Here. Hopefully that knowledge helps down here. But if you're learning for the sake of learning, as opposed to learning for the sake of remembering, if you're learning it to advance your understanding, that does not mean your heart is getting cleaner. Your heart is getting cleaner when you're technically, actually engaged in the act of dhikr, and every time you do dhikr, actual dhikr, it's cleaning you out on the inside. And so I told you what revelation does inside of our hearts. What does it do? It feeds two entities. It feeds the nafs, it gives it balance, and it gives the ruh its food. Now I'll tell you the last thing that the intellect does. I made reference to it before, now I think you'll appreciate it more. What the revelation does. It feeds the aql as much as it does the qalb. The aql has philosophical questions. It has logical questions. It has rational questions. It has if-then questions. It poses questions of intellectual value. The qalb doesn't have those questions. It already had the answer the moment it was created. The light was already inside. The heart doesn't have questions, the mind does. Now the questions the mind asks can get twisted and weird if what's already dead. The heart's already dead. Then it can start asking strange questions because it's no longer connected to the qalb. But if the qalb is intact, then it will ask valid questions. And it wants to seek truth. That's something Allah put inside the fitrah, to want to seek truth. You know? Now, because of that, we say our revelation doesn't just feed the qalb, it also feeds the aql. But it will only satisfy the aql of the person whose what is already clean. This qalb still has an opening. If the qalb has no opening, this person will ask questions and get answers and ask more questions and get answers and ask more questions and get answers. It will never help him. Because what's really going on is something else. I'll leave you with a practical scenario. Really good friend of mine, inshallah, he'll be visiting us soon, Professor Amr Muzaffar. The mahar is what makes the marriage true. The marriage gift is called saduqat. Now, saduqat should never be confused with sadaqat. Sadaqah is extra. You give charity. Saduqah is you confirm the marriage is actually valid. In other words, when we give mahar, that's actually the confirmation of marriage. Nihla, interesting word, is actually used for when you give a woman a gift. When you give a woman a gift out of love, out of, aspiration, and nihla could be like a romantic gift. So you're happily giving it. That's why they say nahal al-mar'ata. He gave the woman the extra gift, above and beyond. Above and beyond. Yani fadlan an al-mahar. In addition. So Allah says, give them their marriage gifts, but give them in a way that is quick and enthusiastic and out of love, that there's no ill feeling in your heart. And you know what happens, especially in our culture and Desi culture, and some other cultures they do this too, they go over the top and pick this ridiculous mahar amount. Because they say, that's what our daughter's worth. Our precious little princess. $50,000. $100,000. And you know when they do this? 10 minutes before the nikah is signed. Seriously? Yeah, of course. Everybody does 50,000. And then you sign up for it, and you're like, because right now, everybody's eating the biryani and the baklava already. People are waiting outside. Pressure situation. So what do? All right, 50,000. And in the mind of the husband, he's like, yeah, it's a big number. It's not like I'm going to pay it. That's what's going on in his head. It's not like I'm going to pay it. Ajil or ajil? No, ajil. Make it late. Deferred payment. The imam is asked, when are you going to pay it? Oh, ajil. We'll pay it later. Later, yani abadan. I ain't paying nothing. And every time the husband goes out with the wife, hey, you want to get some ice cream? Yeah, it counts towards your mahar though. I'm counting. It's like 25 ice creams already. It's like 49,500. It'll sour the marriage. And then she's afraid to ask. Because if she asks, he's like, what, do you not love me? Is it all about the money for you? Is that all you care about? It creates a really ugly situation inside the marriage. First of all, pick a mahar that's reasonable. Don't pick an insulting mahar like, a Twix bar. And so, well, Sahaba used to give a date for Mahar, and one Sahabi actually helped another memorize a surah of the Quran. We should be like this. Those were Sahaba. When you do everything else like the Sahaba, then you quote the Sahaba, okay? So, you, my friend, are no Sahaba. You are no Sahabi. Give a reasonable, decent Mahar. And I'm not a faqih. I'm not a faqih. So in this, what should I give? Well, first of all, this question isn't answered in fiqh except in terms of advice. And even if it is answered, the general answer is ask your conscience. If you were to die tomorrow, can she survive at least a month, 2 months, 3 months without you being around? Can she pay the rent? Can she pay the utility bills? Can she get the groceries? Can she survive a year without you? Can she do that? The mahar is supposed to be a kind of security feature. That's what it's supposed to be. Some kind of, living security. So, have a decent amount. Have something. If you have nothing to offer and she's not asking for anything, ala rasi wal ayn, no problem. Twix bar, one for you, one for me, we're done. But it is supposed to be something that's decent. Something that's fair. And neither side feels shortchanged. And girls also, they should be smart about this. They shouldn't be like, I love you so much, I don't want anything. No. That's going to change in about 2 years. Should have asked for more. I knew it. So, don't put yourself in that position. And I know you feel shy to ask, but look, it's a fair transaction. And you have to be happy with it. Don't let your parents dictate it either, $80,000 and, we want a yacht or... Actually, it was the best. There was this one family, they didn't even know how to pronounce it, but they were like, we want a yachet for our children. I was like, you're gonna get it. Get your yachet. But anyhow, but when you give women their dowry, give them happily. Give them happily. And don't try to, فَإِن طِبْنَ لَكُمْ, and don't just say, hey woman, I know I said 10,000, but can you do with 5? I'm going through a hard time right now and everything. You know what I do? Do I not do enough for you? And you're trying to emotionally manipulate her into saying, okay, fine, 5. Okay, less. Okay, give me later. You can't do that stuff. نِحْلَةً, you have to give it. فَإِن طِبْنَ لَكُمْ, and if out of their own goodwill they give to you. طِبْنَ لَكُمْ عَنْ نَفْسٍ. And طِبْنَ by itself is عَنْ نَفْس. But Allah added عَنْ نَفْس. So the impulse to give you a refund, you gave her the mahar ice cream, she says, okay, then you can have a lick. Okay, here. You don't even look at it. You don't even say, oh, I'm so hungry right now. You don't do that. You don't even give the impression. And she, out of her own goodwill, with no impression from you, no influence from you, hands you something, then don't make it a matter of your manhood. No, woman, I ain't touching your money. Don't do that. Because Allah says, فَكُلُوهُ, then you can eat it. And how should you eat it? هَنِيئًا. Hani'a or hani al-han. Ha, nun, hamza. That's the masdar. Han'un. Okay? It's something that comes your way without effort. Then it's a gift. And hani at-ta'am means food that goes down easy. And you know how in English you say, man, that hit the spot. That's hani'a. In other words, eat it and be like, thanks. That feels kind of good. So you give her a monthly, let's say you set up a monthly thing, you give her 1,000 a month for X number of years or X number of months or whatever it is. And you give her 1,000 and she says, here's $5 back. Go get yourself some chocolate. Go. You say, thank you, ma'am. You don't look at the rest of the bills. You just be happy about it. And then mari'a. Mari'a comes from mari'. Mari' is literally the canal that goes from your mouth or your throat to your stomach. That's mari'. Mara'at ta'am actually means the food went down easy.